Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to episode 4 of the Icefuse podcast. Now, today, alongside myself and Azza, we have our good friends, Giran
Hey yo.
and Froggy Boy Kermit.
What is up, Gamer Nation?
Okay.
Stop.
So this is the note we're gonna start on, huh?
Yes, sir.
So,
Oh man.
now, this group, I feel, is like really special because we come from a small group of friends that we call the Pog Squad.
Yeah.
Oh
my
yeah.
God.
And so it all started with a nice little 6-digit OSU tournament called OSU Noobs.
Yeah. So the way I found out about Osu Noobs was really funny. So basically, I was on Reddit, right? And Zandit, who was like the leader of this tournament, he was like some 12 or 13-year-old, so fairly young, and he basically made this Reddit post like, "Hey, are you a noob? Then join Osu Noobs." And I was like,
Oh.
"Fuck that." It's like I'm 50k. I'm not joining that. But then I saw this other server. It's like, hey, you could do challenges on Osu. And if you don't know what Osu is, it's just a rhythm game where you can click circles. I don't know if you talked about it on the show before, but
No, I don't think we have.
Yeah. Okay, yeah. So it's basically just some free to play rhythm game. So I go on this challenge server, right? And then the first thing someone does is for some reason at everyone is enabled in this fucking 50, 60 people server. At everyone is enabled. So this guy just random guy at everyone, hey, can you stream my tournament? And I'm like, huh?
Is that
I just got
Bandit?
a new monitor, so I could probably stream something. And I'm like, what tournament are you in? And he's like, Osu Noobs.
Oh.
Damn.
So I joined the Discord server for Osu Noobs, right? And then I come in and I'm like, yo, if anyone wants me to stream their matches, I figured out how Attorney Client works, and I'm ready to stream your matches. And basically, I just tried to basically establish my own you have to make them put a certain prefix in the lobby name. So I had to keep spamming everyone to put the prefix in and stuff. And overall, it was a patchwork kind of stream on my channel. But after that, right, Xander realized that he's heavily understaffed. And he's like, yo, let's open up a staff invite form. And so I filled out the form, right? And they knew what I was doing already. And I was way more qualified than them. And then that's how Osu Noobs became an actual tournament instead of Xander's fuck fest. So when did you guys join Osu Noobs?
Oh,
I actually don't remember. I mean, all I know is at the time, I was nearing 100k.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I was 112k, I believe, with the first one that I joined, and I wanted to get into the tournament scene. So every now and again, I would browse the forums, for the community tournaments. And I found OC Noobs. I'm like, oh shit, one I can actually play in. So I joined and I waited for the first week, and it was hell because there was no set map pool, so everyone just chose their own maps, which was really funny. But then that's actually that's how I met Mivs, which we're gonna talk about probably about later on. But it was really fun. I had a lot of fun in Ocean News.
Mm-hmm.
How I found Osu Noobs was purely because I didn't have a fucking clue what I was doing. When I came across Osu Noobs, it was because I was so new to Osu. I think I was reading some sort of forum because I had some sort of issue in regards to cursor sensitivity and mouse acceleration because I didn't know how to disable that at the time. I remember I was going through the threads and I was like, okay, cool, this is how you fixed it, whatever, moved on with my day. I went back to the forums page because actually, I wish I could tell you why, but it was probably on accident. But then I saw this one section called tournaments. I'm like, oh, that's really bizarre. I thought this game had virtually no players. Look at the tournament section, of course, and there are a million different tournaments. I'm like, oh, this is crazy. But surely I'm never going to be in one of these. And then there was just one particular thread that stood out to me, and that was Osu Noobs. And so I thought that was such a bizarre concept. How could this ever be interesting? And so I joined 250k Azure. In case you're unaware, that is I was terrible at the game, simply put. I joined this tournament. I was like, okay, you know what? I'll give it a shot. Why not? I got myself all hyped up. Come tournament day, went 0-2 in both my matches. So,
yeah.
but
Yeah.
yeah. What about you, Kermit?
Oh God, mine. So it was almost maybe under a month of me playing Osu at this point, and I was still fucking garbage. And my friend, Prince, who was like maybe double my rank. Like I was like 300k and he was like 150k or something by that point. Was like, yo, dude, fucking, I found this chat with a bunch of people that are like brand new to the game doing a tournament, and I was like, oh, cool, dude, fucking rad. So I join it, right? I think I went. I think I went 0-2-2. I was that fucking thing actually. Like it was like 4-star maps, and
It was a
like,
nightmare.
yeah, it was like 4-star maps, and I was like, how the fuck are these people hitting it? Even though like a few tournaments later, I was literally like fucking S-ing all the maps that I was given. But
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, a few tournaments later, we actually had a map pool thanks
Yeah.
to you,
Yeah.
like being a leader and like Xandit not
Yeah.
being the leader.
I remember
bef-
once I was a caster for OC Noobs, and oh my
Oh.
god, it was
Oh.
me and
Oh,
JWOK. I think
boy.
it was me and JWOK who were casters
It
for
probably
for once.
was.
Yeah.
And we were singing together on the fucking map. And I think it was
remember that, yeah.
Garantinas or something. Garantinas or one of the event organizers came into the chat and was like, why the fuck are you singing? And we were like...
I think that was me, yeah.
Yeah.
That was great.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
No,
We
yeah,
were
but,
such
like,
shitters
all
when
of
we
us.
did it.
Yeah, all of us were like in this tournament, and I remember being in the server. Like typically tournament servers, like you want to keep everything like focused on the tournament itself. But I guess that me, like myself, and a few others were just like talking too much quote unquote nonsense. So we were told, hey, make a different server if you want to talk just like regular stuff. And then I was like, okay, so like we made a server. It was first called Osu Noobs Chillax server.
Oh,
Oh yeah, that. Oh
and
my god.
so all of us who were just like regularly chatting, we all joined it. And then it turned into a few of us being a highly dedicated friend group turning into the Pog Squad.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
That's the fun memory.
let's talk about the name, because the name's a bit strange. Pog Squad. How did that name even come about? Because honestly, I don't even remember. So
I probably don't remember either. All I know is that like nearing is because like you were having like issues with the noob staff team and whatnot,
Right.
And so was like Xandit with like just like us in general. So I believe we wanted to stray away from the Osu Noobs name.
Mhm.
And so we were like, alright, what should we call ourselves? And I believe we were like Pog, because like Pog is a really epic
Yeah.
emote on Twitch. And we were like Pog, and I was like, no, it can't just be Pog. So you were like Pog Squad, and they were like, oh hell yeah.
Yeah,
And so
that
I made a
sounds
new image on Photoshop for us, and thus we became the Pog Squad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
This
for
was
some
before I
reason,
took over as leader.
for some reason,
like-
I don't entirely understand why. Oh god damn it. I don't entirely understand why, but we used Greek Stapler's red stapler as our like our base, and then we just put
Yeah.
the Pog emote on the red stapler to make
Yeah.
the Pog Squad
Yeah.
logo.
that's pretty much exactly what happened. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't even know why we used Greek's profile picture, but we
Yeah.
did.
Giran and or JWOK touched up on it briefly earlier, but I want to go back to the topic of the Osu Noob staff. Obviously, Garantinas knows very well that I had
Yeah.
an interesting run inside of the Osu Noob staff team.
Oh yeah.
I want to say it was like, I'd say like my third week participating in that tourney, I decided I wanted to become a tournament organizer. I think I can't remember exactly how it happened, but I think at some point I applied, and then like 3 days later, Xandit's like, "Yo, you want to become TO?" I'm like, "I guess." And so they invited me to the staff's Discord. And me and Xandit didn't exactly hit it off at first. We well, to put it bluntly, I hated him.
Yeah.
And it got to the point where like discussions inside of that Discord weren't even like pertaining to the actual tournament itself, because most of that at that point had become like autonomous and didn't necessarily need the attention of staff too much. And that
Yeah.
Discord basically just turned into me and Xandit flaming each other.
yeah.
And Yogsy. Oh
I
my god,
don't
that guy is such an instigator.
Oh yeah,
I don't
huh?
know, but like for some reason, I don't think that a single person that was a tournament organizer of Osu Noobs liked Zandit. Like, I don't think anybody that
I don't
was
think so
actually in
either.
his staff liked him.
So like he stayed leader until like week 7 or 8 of the
Yeah,
tournament.
Yeah,
and
he
then
stepped
eventually he stepped down, which was
Yeah.
impressive because basically it was a coup d'etat for the entire fucking time that
Right.
tournament organizers
so-
existed.
Yeah, so basically, so I saw that like Zandit is like doing these things, like he's literally harassing Azur. He's literally like harassing like team members, and then there's Yogsy too, who's just like doesn't mind his own like business, and then like every time Azur would like make like a suggestion or something, he'd be like, "No, don't do this," because
Yeah.
Azur said so. I was like, "What?"
Just to
It's
be
like-
clear, it's not like I didn't harass Sandy. I totally harassed that guy.
Yeah,
I was totally a dick to that guy. But like, God, that Discord was such a mess. Like, the only
Mhm.
real like mediation that ever occurred was like when Garantinus or Greek stepped in. But other than that, it was
Yeah.
pretty much just a complete dumpster fire.
because everyone else was like unsure how to handle the
Yeah,
situation. and, like,
absolutely, yeah.
yeah.
But yeah, that pretty much is the origin of the Pog Squad.
Do we want to talk
It's-
about the split between old Pog Squad and new and the OG Pog Squad?
I
How
mean,
e-girls
we
defeated
can
the
like
OG
briefly
Pog
go
Squad.
over it. So it's like what Come's referring to is the fact that like the Pog Squad, like the first server that we had, as we mentioned, it was like open to the Osu Noobs like tournament players
Yeah.
because it was derived from there, and so like it wasn't just us that joined, it was like a few others, and then some people in the server started to add their friends, and then essentially it became a situation where we as a group generally felt as if we had too many people and like not a lot of people actually talking a lot, and so we decided to, as a friend group, split off from the main server, make a sub server called the OG Pog Squad, where it was everyone who was actually in the Noobs tournament that actually regularly talked. And then that's kind of where we are right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now Osu Noobs 2 is running beautifully with my leadership.
Yeah, well done. Well done.
And my graphics.
Good
And
plug.
my graphics.
Yes.
Throw in the
JWOK's-
plug. Oh,
Yeah.
which, by the way, I never got the chance to tell you, but like the graphics for that tournament is phenomenal. Like, it's actually
Swag.
flawless.
Yeah. JWOK
It's
did a
crazy.
good job.
Swag.
I'll link images to the tournament and graphics in the description, but it's flawless, and if you play Osu, you need to check it out.
Yeah.
But back on the topic of Pog Squad, I'm
Mhm.
very happy to say that to this day, everybody that is in the OG Pog Squad server is people that we're all very much in close relations with. Some talk more than others, but we all still have very close ties with each other, which is good, because that's a friend group that I very much enjoyed being around. It's one that I plan on being around for a very long time. So,
Yeah. I think it's good to have like the
Now-
mix of like
yeah.
IRL friends and like online friends.
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
Definitely.
but sometimes the two cross together
Exactly, and that's
into
how
an
we get
into
to
an
win
into an
JWOK.
amalgamation of Arizona fun.
That's a good
Which is a
segue.
beautiful segue into the next topic that I want to talk about.
Xander Smash.
So and so
No comment.
like I used to live in Pennsylvania, and like after I graduated, I decided to pack my bags and move back to where I was born and where most of my family is in Arizona. And so like I was getting settled down. It was like mid-November, and I already knew that Azza also lived in Arizona. And so we were talking, and so it turns out that one of my aunts lives in the same city as he does. So whenever we drove down there, like kind of like over Thanksgiving break, him and we decided to have a meetup, and it was the first time that I was meeting one of my online friends. So I was very excited. I was also very worried because my
Azur's
mother
a serial
isn't
killer.
too well. No, because she
Yeah,
doesn't do
I
too
remember
well
that.
with online friends. and so we were like on the phone back and forth trying to decide what kind of story we
actually
should go
remember
with.
that. Yeah. So before, like, literally as my dad was driving me to JWOK's house because I couldn't drive at the time, I remember we were on the phone and we were scheming. All right, what kind of BS story can you give to your mother that would be believable enough so that she would let us hang out? And so we came up with
Yeah.
several ideas, and then I think what we settled on was like we were childhood friends from a Pennsylvania elementary
Yeah.
school. I think is what we settled on.
However, what ended up happening was that whenever they actually arrived at the house, like she wasn't there, so I didn't have to worry about it. I just told my
Walked out.
grandfather, "Hey, I'm leaving," and then he was like, "All right, cool," and so I left and we hung out.
Yeah, we're like, shit, I guess that's not a problem. So, spent all that time worrying about nothing. Let's see. The experience of meeting somebody online is, for the first time in person, is crazy.
Yeah,
And
it was surreal.
it doesn't happen on a regular basis, of course, but I'm sure if, like, say, for whatever reason, you're able to contact some sort of bigger YouTuber who met their YouTube friends in person, they could probably tell you something similar. It's a crazy, out-of-world experience, you know? There's this, I don't know how to explain it, it's crazy, but there's just this, like, level of initial disbelief when it comes to meeting somebody in person. There's so, because, like, being behind a computer screen and getting to know somebody behind a computer screen, you build up all these expectations mentally, physically, etc., and then you meet them in person and you kind of get hit with the whole realization, like, oh,
They exist.
this is a
Damn,
real
you're
person.
short.
Yeah, that too. JWOK was way shorter than I anticipated.
I am 5'5".
Oh,
Yeah,
that's a big rip.
yeah. It's not.
Uh,
He's not midget short, at least. So.
I had a friend who has a girlfriend in Canada, and he met her for the first time this summer, and he took like a 9-hour train from here, northeast,
Wow.
That's
to
ridiculous.
Canada. That's crazy. Yeah. So like, I can only imagine like the kind of like things that you get to experience once you like travel
I
that the
know.
journey.
Especially that kind of relationship with the whole dating thing got going on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's definitely crazy. They probably went pretty ham on each other. Not gonna lie.
That's
maybe
a
maybe
monka.
not. Maybe
That's
the
a monka.
complete opposite. All right. Anyways. Anyways.
Getting a little bit off track,
Show me
but
your
it
massive
was
meaty. What?
it was one of those experiences where I'm really glad it happened, and it's just something that honestly it probably changed my life at the
Yeah,
very least
seriously.
for a little bit. Like it was just so surreal, like talking to someone for like months on end, and then being able to actually physically meet them in person, and it's like, oh my god, like this is crazy.
Yeah, and then going through those experiences, talking to them and playing games with them online, only amounts to making things in person so much more interesting, I think.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, crazy experience. Crazy experience. And
Yeah, and then since then we have met up a couple more times as well.
Yeah.
Like more recently actually, but yeah.
yeah,
cool stuff.
it's like at the point where it's like we're basically just IRL friends at this point. It's becoming so regular. God, what was it? I think Kayla, who's an individual inside of
Who
her
is an
Pog Squad friend
individual?
circle.
Individual.
We'll put it at that.
Yeah, we'll leave it at that.
She's inside her friend circle, and when Amelia, fuck, when
Yeah, no,
JWOK,
it's fine. I have my name up. I have my name up there.
Pardon me.
when JWOK came over to my house for the second time, so that was like I'd say 3 weeks ago or so. He actually got on the Discord server on my account, went into a VC with Kayla, and she was like,
Remember how I
baffled.
confused
She
the
was
fuck
baffled.
out of Kayla by just saying that, by just using like really weird phrases about me saying that I am Kermit, no need to worry, Kermit is me, I am Kermit.
Oh,
Like,
right.
Yeah.
No, yeah,
I
it's
confused the hell
it's
out.
because what we were doing is that we were saying that we had like that Azure had a voice changer,
Oh,
and so
yeah.
you would turn it off, mute himself, give me the headset, turn it back on. Hey, what's up? I'm Azza.
Oh yeah, I remember.
It's speech impediment fucking.
Of course,
Yeah.
guaranteed it's an intellectual. Saw right through. He's like, okay, whatever.
Yeah.
But
Alrighty.
Kayla, on the other hand, I guess she didn't consider the possibility that we met up in person, so she was just baffled.
She's seen
Mhm.
pictures of you guys meeting up.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know.
The
That's the
weirdest
crazy
part
part.
is like she's seen it before. That's like
Yeah,
Right.
it's funny.
let's see.
Not the sharpest tool in the
The
shed.
what?
Not the sharpest tool in the shed.
Oh
Not
yeah,
the sharpest
absolutely.
tool in the shed. That is
okay.
very true.
Still holds a place in my
However,
heart.
one thing that is a very sharp tool, if given the right task and in the right hands,
Oh,
is
yes,
artificial intelligence.
Oh.
You're
Segue,
the fucking master
JWOK.
of segues. Over
You're on fire
Yeah.
today.
Look at my
Yeah.
man.
So
So
this
do you guys know about
was-
deepfakes?
Say again?
Do you guys know about deepfakes?
I was actually just about to talk about that. It's like
yeah.
it's so deepfakes, crazy technology,
Mhm.
typically used in videos where like you have like a video clip of someone talking, and then you put that into an AI, have like a different video of someone else talking, but then the AI syncs up the eyes and mouth movements of the second video with the first one.
Oh.
So at the end, it produces a video that realistically looks like that second person said whatever the first one was.
Yeah. And
Oh,
it doesn't
wow.
have to be voice. Like they use it in porn.
Yeah.
Like for example, let's
It's-
say you
yeah.
want like Pam from The Office. Just find a porn star that looks like her, and then like put some Pam video into a deepfake, and boom.
It's
I love
really
how you
crazy
went for
technology.
porn immediately. Nice job, Giran.
Well, I mean that's like one popular use of it.
Now, the headline that I read recently that actually made me want to talk about on the podcast was I was in a car with my mother and I was going through Twitter, and then I found this article where it was about this guy, it was about this scammer in the UK who
Oh right, he called.
yeah.
Oh my
so
god.
so he called a company. However, what he did is that he deepfaked the voice of the company CEO and tricked the employees into sending him like $245,000.
What?
Yeah.
He deepfaked the voice. Like that was just absolutely
get-
insane to me.
Caught for
Pro
any
gaming.
sort of. Do you ever get charged for that?
Of
I
course
don't
he did.
know.
If they know
Well,
that he
I
did
mean-
it, then
Well,
of course he
I
did.
mean,
Yeah.
yeah. That's a good point. Silly question, but yeah, it's crazy. That and what interests me more in particular is the development of robots that actually serve a practical use in society. So that's stuff like
Mhm.
self-driving
Mhm.
cars. I think is the best example.
Oh yes.
Right.
Which I think is so interesting. Self-driving cars it's a gamble, I'm sure, and it's going to be really difficult to get the public to trust it. But once you get the public behind the idea of a public car, you got yourself a gold mine of cash. You know?
So like
Also
machine vision.
that-
Oh sorry. Go.
Yeah, no, go ahead because like you are talking about like how it actually works.
Right.
Yeah. So I mean, I was just gonna say that machine vision, which is like what self-driving cars are made off of, and like how like machines like see like everyday like scenery and stuff like that. That's like the biggest area of research. And if you go to like any like big research school like Stanford, MIT, like all that, they'll give you like boatloads of grants if you say the words machine vision. Machine vision. So
Yeah. Absolutely.
it's like
Yeah, it's a game
I
changer,
personally
seriously.
think that self-driving cars could actually be like really useful in the future because then like if it gets smart enough and safe enough, you like almost entirely lose the risk of like a fatal car crash because if in the future if every car is self-driving and there's a huge whole self-driving network, like you like take the chances of dying in a car crash and it significantly drops because everything is automated and you don't have that kind of risk of like drunk human error usually.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But also, like, it's way faster to get places because, like, you don't have stoplights. You don't need stoplights if the self-driving cars know where every other car is going.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they just read for each other, react to each other
Yeah.
accordingly.
And you could go at like 100 miles per hour, and we're not
Yeah,
going to crash into
absolutely.
each other 'cause it's self-driving.
Something else with AI that intrigues me and it kind of like sparks a sort of a little small question and controversy is the stuff that Google is doing. So it's like Google now has this feature on their Pixel phones where it's called call screening. Essentially, if you get a call, you have the option for your Google Assistant to actually answer it for you. So it will be like, hey, this is JWOK's Google Assistant. He can come to the phone right now. Can you please leave a message or whatever?
Mm-hmm.
So like that's fine on its own. But what Google is at the same time currently developing is the Google Assistant handling everything for you. So something that a lot of people, myself included, don't really like to do is to call into, for example, a restaurant to either place an order or place a reservation, because we in these days don't really want to have that kind of like human to human interaction. So what Google is developing is a technology where the Google Assistant speaks everything for you, as long as long as you tell it what it wants to do, but it makes it sound itself as human as possible.
That's freaky.
And so like I believe
It
at
comes
Google
in
I/O,
others. It
Google's
does.
kind of convention, yeah, like they kind of like showed some audio based previews of it actually being used in real time, and it sounds extremely lifelike.
Uh-oh.
Like to the point where if you were just only hearing the audio of a snippet of the conversation on the phone, you probably wouldn't be able to tell if you didn't know beforehand that it was a robot talking to a human.
Yeah.
Because Google's like AI technology, it even adds in like natural human speech pauses, and then also like stuff like ums or uhs and stuff like that. It's kind of scary in a way, which is kind of the question of, it's like, do we really want that, and or
Yeah,
is it
absolutely.
safe? Like, do you or does Google as a company need to give the person on the other line prior knowledge of knowing that they're speaking to a robot, when taking into consideration, if they already know that, would they continue the conversation? Like, that's been a question that's kind of like brought up because of that, is that like the implications of like, is AI going too far in the wrong direction?
Well, what's also scary is that whenever you try to fight an AI, there's this thing called like an adversarial neural network. So basically, if you build something to fight the AI will just get stronger.
There was one
That's holy cow,
Yeah.
yeah.
on the Pixel 4. They think that the Google Assistant will be able to manage when you're on hold, so that you don't need to listen to any of like the waiting music and shit, so that you can just like chill out and it'll tell you when there's actually another person talking. It's
Yeah,
actually,
drop some FCs on Osu while you're waiting, yeah.
yeah. Exactly,
What?
dude.
But it's just like seeing like all these advancements in AI, like it's really crazy like how far it's come now, and then especially how far it could go in the future.
Hmm.
Like realistically speaking, we could potentially have a situation where Skynet is real.
Yeah.
Hell yeah, brother.
That's insane to
Skynet
me.
for life.
I'm still not sure if AI is if like progressing further with the development of AI is something that I support or am against yet. I still haven't like fully formulated an opinion against or for it.
Hey, if it
I
means
like
that
to
I can die
think,
faster, then I'm down with it.
Mega, as you were going, Azo.
God, where was I? I actually lost my train of thought. Thanks, Kermit.
Wow, I'm sorry.
Like, for me, it's really situational, because like I feel that if AI could be used somewhere where it's helpful, like for example, like say if someone's doing a surgery and then they like get tired or they get nervous, if an like AI based robot could like take in for them, knowing what to do in the safest way possible, that could be very like beneficial, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
However, with like stuff where as I explained how what Google is doing, that was a terrible formulation of English. As Google is doing, like, is that really what we want AI to be capable of?
Yeah,
So the thing with
absolutely.
AI, it's like it depends on whose hands you put it in. AI itself is not bad. AI, we can't make AI bad unless we put it in like the wrong hands. If we put it in that like the hands of the hackers, the spam callers, those kind of people. If we like regulate it and make sure it only is used for science and for like progress, then I think the AI is pretty good.
Yeah. I think attempting to regulate it though, I'm not sure if that'll actually be effective. Like, you can see that kind of logic being applied to stuff like arguing as to whether or not um, making something illegal but having it just go underground in the black market is actually
Yeah.
an effective means of dealing with something.
Mhm.
Like, that's actually a crazy thought, is to think having AI as a black market industry. That would be a crazy thought. I
That
doubt
would be,
AI.
yeah, that, oh my god.
2077, boys.
um,
Come
CD
on, JWOK, it's
Projekt
time for a
Red
segment.
predicts the
yeah, but
future.
just like judging by the rate to which AI is becoming accessible in like common households, I doubt it'll probably go in that direction. Interesting thought though.
Yeah.
That would be
I don't think they'd
dystopian
be
movie
able to
plot.
control it, honestly. I don't know if federal law would be able to control it since it's states' rights kind of thing.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, I feel like if it gets to a point, then it probably will be controlled like that. However, like as it is right now, yeah, as you said, like the federal government can't really control too much of that situation.
Well,
Oh man.
speaking of federal versus state, rural versus urban living areas, ain't that fun? I got you, JWOK. Don't
Now,
worry.
I don't know where you stand on that. I don't know where you stand on that, but I 100%. I love cities. I love downtown areas, but I 100% think it is better to live in a rural area. But before we even dive into that, I want your guys' standpoint on what you believe is better.
I live in the
well,
suburbs, so
yeah,
I'm like in the
uh,
perfect middle. So personally, I like urban more because you get more advancement and shit between it. But rural, I mean, it's nice to be in a rural area sometimes, but I like urban areas more.
yeah, it's like for me, I would say I lived in both kind of areas and then also suburban as well. Like most of my time was spent living in a rural, like pretty small town in Pennsylvania, and then going from it's like even just like moving from there to here where I live in like one of the main cities in Arizona. It was quite like a little bit of a culture shock just to see just how big this city is and how many people are in here, and like some of the benefits of living in an urban area is that you get access to a lot more stuff. Like
Yeah.
I have access to like stuff like Uber Eats. I can like take like rides in strangers' cars, places, and paying them to do so using Lyft. I just have like a lot more at my fingertips that I could potentially do, which like coming from that rural town, it really it's really nice to have because like whenever you live in a small town, like after a little bit, you get used to seeing everything over and over and over and over again.
Yeah,
It gets
absolutely.
pretty boring. So having options like that is really nice. However, at the same time, it's great to live in a rural area because it's a lot more quiet. Stuff doesn't usually happen until like once or twice in a year. And then since it's like a really small community, you have a chance to make some really nice friends and to like have like a nice uh stable friend group, which is what I have back in Pennsylvania actually. And I don't really know. It's like I don't really know if I have an opinion on which one is better than the other. I'd say for me personally, I think I might lean towards rural, mainly because of how quiet it is,
Yeah.
and I like living in a quiet area.
Statistically speaking, my
Oh
town
shit.
has
You can tell
2
now you're
murders on
Asian.
average in a year. Um, what do you call 'em? Major crimes are very rare. They don't happen very commonly. Fires are sparse. Um, and generally speaking, just like crime, general city issues, stuff like crime, fires, pollution, all that kind of stuff is like not even a concern. And then if you live in an area like I do. Granted, of course, you will have the limited availability to services, limited availability to food, recreation, but that's definitely a sacrifice that I'm willing to take personally, um, to get all the benefits that comes with living in a rural area, which is that you get the peace and serenity you deserve inside of your own home. Whereas if you live in a cramped New York apartment, you'll have to deal with your 3 bitchy neighbors waking up every single morning, yelling at their dogs and yelling at that guy running down the hallway, and it's like that's just such a hectic environment to live in that I would personally never want to do that.
I mean, I think it depends on where in the urban environment you live exactly. Like if you live in the slums, then definitely there's gonna be a lot of crime, a lot of pollution, a lot of that kind of stuff. But if you live in like a pretty good area of a city, or a pretty good or close suburb, then I think definitely urban's the way to go because like transportation is just so easy. Like
Oh,
if you want to go to work, you take some train or bus. If you
yeah,
want to
that's a
go
good point.
shopping, you walk there. Like come on.
Yeah, that's the thing I
Actually-
like the most about urban areas. Like, keep in mind, when I say that I live in a suburb, it's a super small suburb. Like, and it's a southern suburb. It's not like I'm
Gated
in the north here, where like I'm fucking maybe at most 5 miles away from a city. No, I'm 30 minutes away from my nearest city, and it's like I can never walk anywhere to go fucking anywhere unless I get an Uber somewhere, which I fucking hate. And I like the fact that living in an urban area gives you the opportunity to walk to a place without needing
Yeah.
to, pay
Actually,
$40
just
to an Uber.
reminded me of a good point in that although you do lack a lot of those modern recreational services you get inside of an urban area, rural areas actually provide a lot of recreational services naturally. So that's stuff like hunting, fishing, that kind of stuff you can find very easily in some sort of rural environment. Now I live in a neighborhood that consists of a lot of crazy rednecks who love to go four-wheeling on the dirt road, not even like 500 feet from my house. So they'll go four-wheeling, flying down this dirt road, and they have a ton of fun doing it. And I don't understand what the appeal of going down a road is, but
Yeehaw.
there's more stuff like hunting is something that happens very commonly in an area where I live, which I think is really interesting. I've gone hunting before. It's a great experience, and if you haven't gone hunting, I highly recommend you try it. But it's like recreational activities are offered naturally if they're not offered artificially, really.
If I go
mean,
hunting,
weren't
I'm
you the same person who said there's nothing to do in your town?
Okay, that's
Just saying something.
look, that's a good point. That's a good point. But understand that a lot of the outdoorsy stuff is not my type of thing. In terms of what I personally prefer, which is generally artificial recreation, so stuff like arcades and movie theaters and stuff like that, which is generally what I prefer. You don't get very many of. Granted, you either get very little of, a very small selection of, or just not completely. Now, in the case of arcades and movies, you have 2 movie theaters in my town and 1 very, very, very small arcade. That's about all you're getting. And that kind of stuff is not easily accessible to.
I have one movie theater, pretty nice, 20 minutes away.
20 minutes.
20 minutes by car. And yeah, that's about it. That's all I have around me. It's really fucking disappointing. Like, I'm always like, hey, I really want to hang out with my friends so that I'm not alone in my house all the time. And then I'm like, hold up, the only thing I can do is watch Avengers Endgame for the 4th fucking time this month. Like, it's so annoying,
okay.
dude.
That's what happens when your state doesn't industrialize.
Yeah.
Here where I live, I have a lot of movie theaters. I have 2 big malls and then 1 smaller mall, like all around like maybe 15 minutes by car, just like around 30 minutes by car. There's like a lot to do where I live, and I like having that. But at the same time, I don't really have like any friends here to actually hang out with besides like 1 coworker. So I don't really get the full experience of doing stuff like that on a regular basis.
Oh yeah, I forgot to
kinda
mention, I
sucks.
do have 2 malls near me. One is about 30 minutes away, and then one is 30 minutes away. Yeah, in 2 opposite directions. So yeah,
I envy that. In my town, and JWOK's seen it, but like in my town, there is 1 mall. It's a very, very small mall. Everything is going out of business because there's like quite literally no customer traffic there. Like me and JWOK went there in the middle of the day on what was it, Saturday? So
Yeah,
that
Saturday.
that generally should be
the
one of
highest
the
point
most
for,
popular. Yeah, there should be tons of traffic, if not the most traffic at that given time. We went in there, and if I were to count every single person inside that entire building, there would be maybe 100, I would say.
Fuck.
It was
There was
desolate.
more traffic at the Best Buy right next door than
Yeah.
there was at the mall.
That's not even a joke. And like every single retailer inside that store that's not out of business is some sort of clothing retailer, usually appealing to a female audience. So there's like, if you're like me and you're not really into shopping too much, especially a
Also, if
female
you're onto
apparel,
female.
yeah, that too.
Andrew,
You're
you
left
know what
with
a mall is
virtually
for, right?
nothing. You're left
Like-
with virtually nothing. You have one movie theater, a very small arcade next to it, and that's it. That's pretty much
To
it.
be fair, you also have a T-Mobile store.
Oh,
Okay, that's
shit,
right.
dude.
So if you're like me and you like looking at phones, you can walk in there.
JWOK's
Oh.
such a
Azor
nerd. He
yelled
loves
at me
phones.
because Azor yelled at me for like
Yeah,
walking in the T-Mobile store.
We
It
were
was
gonna go to the
funny.
arcade, and we're like, all right, let's go to this arcade. JWOK starts walking to this fucking store I've never seen before, and I'm like, what are you doing? He's like, we need to look at this phone. I'm like, I don't care.
To be fair, it was the OnePlus 7 Pro, which has the really cool pop-up camera that I wanted to
Isn't
try
that
in
like
real life, and it was really
$1,000
fun.
though, JWOK?
No, it's like maybe 700.
That, and is
800.
It doesn't
really
have
practical?
waterproofing. It doesn't have IP like 68 waterproofing. You do realize
Giran,
that,
how
right?
are you so?
Shut up.
Okay, who cares about waterproofing on a phone? Like the only people that need
Do you not bring
waterproofing
your
on
phone
a
to the
phone
shower?
are fucking stupid. Like, oh,
Yeah.
whoops, I forgot to take my phone out of my pocket while going to the pool. Whoopsie doopsie.
What if you want to take pool photos? What if you want to take shower photos?
That's another
Visco.
thing.
Giran, I don't want to take
Visco
nudes.
goes.
That's another
I don't
thing.
wanna
Living
take
in
nudes,
Arizona,
Giran.
you always get weather suitable for swimming in pools. So if you have a backyard
That
pool,
is
so-
very true. But at the
There's,
same time, you also live in Arizona,
That's
where
true.
it's hot all the time,
That's
and you
true.
don't really want to go outside.
True.
I'm at ASU now.
Oh my God, ASU.
Arizona
I wouldn't
State
go there.
University.
No, actually, I wouldn't say it's terrible.
Azure,
Um,
the first thing you learn at ASU is how to do a keg stand and roll a joint. That's how. That's what ASU.
That's what I've
are.
heard. Yeah, that's actually exactly
Mhm.
what I've heard. But judging by statistics, theoretically they shouldn't be that bad.
Oh my fucking
Now,
god.
of course, what
huge
I know,
statistics.
probably not.
I
You
mean, I know
Kermit-
someone who lectures there. He lectured there at Stanford over the summer, so.
My
Pretty
sister graduated there. She generally had a very positive experience there. So I mean,
Okay.
I'm not
I
gonna
know
go
this.
into specifics because like it could potentially like by some real chance
Dox yourself.
of doing something, it could not only dox myself but dox the person I'm kind of talking about. But one of my family members is a professor at ASU, and they say it's a pretty like fun place.
Okay.
yeah, I think. Well, I mean, it's probably just like the whole social stigma around college. I don't even think it's like like credited strictly to the university. I'm sure if you go to
Mhm.
any university,
Yeah.
no matter how good or bad, you'll have a quote unquote fun experience. That's the social stigma around university. Period.
Yeah.
I
So-
guess.
Yeah. You're going to college, right, Garantinas?
Yes, I'm planning on going to college, but I might not graduate because my school has this thing where
Uh-oh.
we have to get an internship, right? And the internship's due in like 10 days, and I still have not
Oh.
found one.
Oh.
Oh,
So-
get on that,
Yeah.
dude.
Working on it.
So what do you think you're gonna go into in terms of like field of study?
Yeah, so like that's what I don't know, and
Oh.
like that's why
Food studies, favorite foods. What's your favorite
Oh
food?
my fucking god.
I thought we were talking about future Deem /
Yeah,
economic
he
prospects.
literally just
Shit.
JWOK. You just bounded an entire topic.
Oh my
It's
goodness.
fine. Okay, future. I'm just making cracking a joke.
Co-host
Sure.
spot is now available if you're interested in applying.
All right, guaranteed us. What do you want to do with your life?
I don't know. Apparently I'm like decent at computer science, but I don't think I want to do that in university. I think you could just like learn that off reading.
Computer science
So, I
degrees
don't
are a
know.
dime a dozen nowadays. Like if you're going to a high
It's-
school, it's like an old business major. If you don't know what you want to do, they'll be like, "Hey, take computer science. It'll get you a job."
That's true.
Yeah, that field
I mean-
is so oversaturated.
Yeah.
In the U.S.
No, it's actually
especially.
not. It's undersaturated.
That
They're
can't be
like-
true. That cannot
No, I'm
possibly be true.
serious. I'm serious. It's like there's like 3 times as many jobs as like there are graduates.
Really?
Yeah, it's insane.
But a lot of those jobs require experience, which is the most annoying thing about jobs. Like
Mm.
they
Oh my
don't
God,
want to
yes.
they don't want to accept people who don't have experience. But like how are you supposed to get a job that needs experience if you don't have experience.
That's the bigger
know,
problem
it's
with
like-
people. It's like
Internship.
bachelors and stuff.
I
Yeah.
don't like that. I think it's because like as I was applying to places here, like a lot of places I applied to, it was like first like starting out job. It was like they even had a description starting job at, say for example, it's like a starting job at fucking like whatever, I don't know, Adidas.
Adidas.
No, yeah, it's like a starting job at Domino's. Hey, you must have it's required 3 years of experience of pizza driving. How am I supposed to get that if I don't even have a job yet? It doesn't make any sense. I don't like that.
See, you have options. Come to where I live, and you'll have maybe a maximum of like 50 open jobs for any given field at any given time. There are so little job openings just because there are so little people and so little demand.
Azure, the
So it's
more you
much
talk
more
about your
difficult.
small town, the more I feel like
Listen.
secretly you want to say
Listen,
you like
the
urban
point I'm
areas.
trying to get to, part-time job is possible, but if you want to go into a career here, non-existent. It will never happen, ever. Like,
Unless you want to be a farmer.
yeah, because all the corporations, they're not here. Are you kidding me? They're out in
Mhm.
the big towns where the money's at. But yeah, that's the exciting life of living in a rural town. But
It's doing Back to Future dreams. For me personally, like I didn't go to college after I graduated. I mean, I said I was gonna do a gap year. So that's because I was just mainly deciding. But now that it's been that year, I still don't really want to go. It's like I know that's like kind of like more of like a big risk I'm taking, and like a lot of my family members don't like the fact that I'm taking this risk.
yeah,
But I think for me, like I just don't think that college is for me. Like I never really liked being in school too much. I mean, like obviously I was there for my friends, and it was like overall an enjoyable time. I just don't really want to do it more because of the fact that I have to pay a lot of money for it. And like a lot of people say, oh, if you don't go to college, you won't get a job. Okay, that might potentially be true, but at the same time, no, because going to college and getting a paper degree only tells you, hey, I can be capable of doing this job. It doesn't guarantee you a job.
absolutely.
It's just that you have a piece of paper that you paid like $100,000 for it or something like
Well,
that.
I mean, it depends on where you go to. Like, if you're going to
That's true. Yeah,
Stanford,
that's
if
true.
you're going to Princeton, if you're going to like these top colleges, you're 100% getting a job.
yeah,
Unless
Yeah,
you
I-
majored in something like.
I
stupid.
know, but it's just like I didn't see
Gender
college
studies.
as a viable good option for me because I didn't like
Yeah.
a lot of stuff about it. So as of that, it's like that means that I have to get a job, and so I have a job right now. It's not the best. I'm looking for a different job right now. But regardless, what I want to do with my life is something within the entertainment industry, whatever that may be.
JWOK's gonna be a
like
stripper.
if flip flopped, no, no.
On
Shut up. But it flip flopped a lot over the years. Like I remember whenever I was like a preteen, I was writing terrible music lyrics, and I was like, "Oh, that's amazing! I wish I had some of those, but I do not." But then like that kind of evolved into using FL Studio to producing music, which I did for a few years. But then I lost the motivation due to some unsavory comments by my then significant other, so I fell off of that. But nowadays, I think I'm doing pretty well with graphic design. I've been using Photoshop since 2013, and I love like making stuff. And like now that it's been a few years, I think I'm actually at a skill level where I'm fine with having like something like of a name to myself. So like it could be something like that, or I think I'm also pretty good at video editing. Like I've done a lot of that over the years because I've also wanted to be a YouTuber, which didn't work like 3 different times. I've also taken a couple of video-based courses in high school that I loved doing. I loved shooting the video. I loved actually like editing it in post and making everything work together. So for me, ideally, I would like to do something within the entertainment industry because I like creating stuff. I've always been that kind of person where like I like to create stuff that isn't building stuff, if that kind of makes sense.
Yeah.
Right.
Because I've always been technologically oriented, ever since I was a small child. Like, I remember first using a computer whenever I was like 3 years old, and so like I've always had access to that, so I've always done stuff with that, and that's what I like to do most, and that's what I would ideally like to have as kind of like what I do on a regular day-to-day basis, and be able to make a living off it.
So what I don't like about like school, especially like high school, is that they don't teach you to like create or like do something that's your own or do that kind of thing. Instead, they're like, okay, just like do what we tell you, do this like math problem, do this kind of thing. Instead of like come up with your own thing, just do the things that everyone else has done.
Yeah,
And it's, like,
honestly,
kind of
I think that what they should do with school is like after middle school, they should have you choose a general career you want to attempt to go into.
Mm-hmm.
At that point, they'll put you into courses dedicated to that instead of this bullshit where, oh, I want to be a fucking psychology professor, so I'm going to be, I don't know, doing Algebra 2 when I'm in junior year for some reason. Like, it doesn't
Yeah,
make
that doesn't
sense
make any
to
sense.
what you want to do.
Yeah.
So you're in a bunch of courses
But I mean,
Yeah.
that you don't want to do with one course that you like, so you only come to school for one course.
Yeah, I mean,
yeah,
I wish it
it's
was like
draining.
that, but like education in general has turned into a large scale competition in that education systems are always building on each other so that they can compete to be the best country in the world, intellectually speaking. Like you can't really escape the system at this point because now everybody's built onto the system where they have to compete to be the best country in the world when it comes to education. And so that doesn't really allow room for practicality. And that they only build the education system around what makes the country of hosting the education system the best it could possibly be.
The
And they
French
do that
actually
by
have
test
a really
scores
good
and
system
stuff
for
like
it.
that.
Yeah, the UK also has like a pretty good system that like lets
Mhm.
you choose what you want
Yeah.
to do instead of just like
Like the French
something
after
Common
middle
Core.
school, they do that where you study for a test basically from first grade to sixth grade or to eighth grade. You're studying for a test. You take the test. If you fail the test, it's not like America where they're like you can do whatever you want. They're like, all right, you're not going to go into a further school. All right, you're going to choose a trade that you want to do, and you'll learn that trade, which I think is probably the best way to go about it, honestly.
Yeah.
100%.
Mm-hmm.
Like our country has such a stigma of like, oh, you need to go to college, otherwise you die, otherwise you starve.
Yeah.
Like that's just not true.
And the worst thing
in,
is,
like,
it's
any
like
context.
adults are so annoying about it too. Like they'll be like,
Oh
the
my
minute
God,
you hit
yes.
18, they'll be like, "Welcome to a life of suffering." Like, bitch, fuck off. Like, who the fuck
I
cares?
know.
Like, it's like you're hyping being an adult up for your entire life, and then the minute you hit adulthood, you just realize that now you have to do taxes and everything is fucking terrible.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Oh my God, yeah. It's like my family hates the fact that I don't go to college, and they really like even to this day they're so like, oh, you still have time. Apply to a community college. Go here, go there. It's like I already decided it's not for me. Just leave me alone with this. Jeez.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's ultimately like the colleges like pushing this because they're like, oh, the more students we get, we can make money. Who cares if they're defaulting
Yeah.
on loans or like not learning?
Yeah.
Who cares?
Mhm.
And the thing
Yeah.
is, I always look at it and I'm like, all right, I can understand why they always do these tours, because if they can get one single person to sign up to their college, they've paid off that tour and given them like at least $30,000 for the first semester. So it's like
Yeah.
Mhm.
it's not like they're doing this stuff and it's like cutting into their fucking profits at all, because they make enough money where hell they could fucking pay off 40 tours with one person just doing their program. So it's like
Yeah.
it's kind of annoying when they act like it's super specialized to you. Like, we all know that you just want my money. You don't want me, fucker.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember like I went to one college tour because I'm pretty sure it was required for me to go to at least one to graduate. and I went to this like tech tech institute, which is kind of like more of a, it's not necessarily a college or a university, but it's still sort of college. It's more
a
like
trade
tech
school.
based.
It's a polytechnic.
Yeah, it's a trade school. Yeah, trade school. So like I went there and I did the tour. Like it was actually like a pretty nice place. Like I ultimately didn't end up applying at all because of the fact that like I still didn't want to go. But I remember doing it. They would like make like these like comments that like made it as if they were trying to push me to do it, kind of persuade me more. It was like, hey, if you come here, if you take these courses that you seem to be interested in, you get like a free MacBook. You know, it's like, oh, I think you want a free MacBook.
Full Sail?
And then
Are
I'm
you talking
like,
about
I'm a
Full
Windows
Sail right
user.
now?
No. It's not Full Sail.
Okay. Full Sail does the
No,
same
but
thing.
it's just like you get a free MacBook, and it's like, I want Windows though, and they were like, oh.
Yeah.
Man, I forgot about Full Sail. I remember I used to see ads of that university all the time.
Yeah.
Totally forgot.
I
Now
used to
just faded
genuinely
in the back of
really
my mind.
consider Full Sail when I was still on my like I want to make video games kick. When I
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I was like, maybe I'll
Because
do
like
that.
that's all that Full Sail is like really advertised
Yeah.
for is what I see. It's like you can make video games.
Yeah.
Yeah, of course, that's a huge industry that has so much appeal to it. It's like, why would anybody not?
But
wanna
then you
check it
learn
out
about
at
what the
least?
lives of a video game designer is, and then you realize,
Oh,
holy
yeah.
shit,
It could be miserable.
these companies treat their
Yeah, it could be
employees
pretty-
like garbage.
Especially if you're
Yeah.
poor EA employees.
Yeah. Oh my
Yeah.
god. Not only do they need
It
do
is
they need to
not
make the same
as-
game 45 times in a row, but they also need to work 45-hour weeks.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Listen, being in the gaming industry is not as super fun as it may seem in the anime new game.
True. It is.
It's probably a lot
so
more
stressful.
really stressful.
Especially if you work
which
for
is-
a huge company.
yeah.
You're held to an extremely high standard
Mhm.
if you work for something like Treyarch or Nintendo or something huge like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which
God.
is a very nice natural segue into the gaming industry.
Oh, the
Were we
gaming
not talking about the gaming industry?
No, he was
No,
talking. He's talking about our
we were
topic.
going
Gaming
into
industry
it.
changes onto how games are played with AR and VR.
No, I mean like I wasn't saying that. I was just saying that like we naturally flowed into it, which is nice.
This episode is really meta.
That's true. It is really meta.
It's the opposite of natural.
Skyrim on iPhone.
Skyrim on my
Fine.
Samsung
Yeah.
smart fridge.
No, do you know about Minecraft AR?
Yeah.
I've seen like really still banner advertisements for it. I never actually watched a trailer about it at all. I should, but I don't know because like a lot of the AR games seem to like go the same way and do almost the same mechanics. Because there's not much you can really do with like AR games on your phone. Like in my opinion, because you have stuff like Pokemon Go, where it's probably the pinnacle of AR games.
Yeah.
Well, I mean,
And
Pokemon Go isn't
popularity.
even that much AR. Minecraft, you can literally like go places and then like people build stuff and you can like change it, edit
Yeah.
it.
That's actually
destroy
a
I
it.
good
would
point.
make
Minecraft
everybody's
relies
work of art
entirely
a
off
dick.
of it.
Everybody's
Yeah.
work of art would be a penis.
Okay.
No, but like
I-
like as you bring that up, Minecraft AR, that sounds like a really awesome concept in my opinion.
Yeah.
Like I'd probably play it if it wasn't hot outside and if I had a better phone.
I would be
Yeah.
the first person to
How
ever
it
get
is.
banned from Minecraft AR for just trolling
Feels
the
Arizona.
industry.
Shut
man.
up. Feel Arizona, Zam. Yeah.
Zam.
Sam.
Zam.
Let's see. I think.
I think that VR though is more interesting.
Yeah.
in my
Let Azure
opinion.
talk.
Sorry,
Well, I was gonna
Azure.
say the exact same thing. I think VR just naturally interests me more because there's just more room for possibility. I think in the VR
Mhm.
industry.
Every time I
Um,
played VR, I've punched a fucking wall. I'm not messing with you. I play VR
That's,
at my friend's house. The most, and I played Gorn and I played hot dogs, horseshoes, and hand grenades the most. And I would just go off playing Gorn. Like I would fuck shit up, mega fuck like everybody's head would be gone. But I would start walking, forgetting, just walk normally. like just walking forward in real life, not even paying attention to the bounding circle
Mhm.
around, and I just punched the shit out of my friend's closet door. There's still a mark on his controller from once.
That is amazing.
I was playing Hot Dogs, Horseshoes, and Hand Grenades, and they have this kind of almost training mode where you fight against robot hot dogs. And the only thing I had, because every other gun had no ammo in it, the only thing I had was a knife. So I run up on this fucking on this goddamn hot dog, and I just start whacking at him. And then eventually I just fucking feel intense pain and hear a large whack, and then I'm like, oh fuck, I punched his goddamn door again. I haven't been let on his VR since.
Again.
That is so funny.
VR
Now-
is crazy because it has, even like as we speak, there's a new Valve VR system coming out with the biggest thing being is that they have, I believe it's that they have like individual finger tracking, I believe is what it
Yes.
is.
Oh yeah. The knuckles.
It's a Kinect.
The knuckles, right?
Connect.
The Kinect.
So you have stuff like that. You have so many new VR engines coming out that have realistic physics and realistic interactions with the environment. And like it's changing so rapidly, that particular field, that I think that's easily something that could be a profitable field in a few years.
Yeah. A few years given time, yeah. Now, going into the kind of future of AR, now what I want to talk about is your opinions on, theoretically speaking, full dive VR. I know SAO. I know SAO is a bad anime, but it really brings up a really cool concept, which is why I wanted to watch in the first place.
Yeah.
Full dive technology, like being able to put on a VR headset, basically just zone out your entire real life body and just do everything in the game.
Now, of course, there are probably some moral arguments about that.
Mm-hmm.
Is it morally correct to do something to your body to that extent just for the sake of recreation?
I don't care about morality. I want to look at anime titties straight up.
Okay.
I'll tell you what though, it sounds like I would love to wake up, eat my breakfast, put on my headset, and get lost in a fantasy world in an MMORPG for hours and hours on end. I think that'd be incredible. That's like the only
be really
thing I
fun.
wanted. I want a full-blown MMORPG in either VR or in the far future some sort of like full what do you call it?
full dive tech.
Yeah, that.
But Azur, have you thought about it? What if we are that technology?
Okay.
Enough.
Well, then-
we are not getting
Conspiracy
into...
theory. We
In
are
that
all
case,
avatars.
No.
This is one pay-to-win ass MMORPG.
Yes,
dude.
it is.
Like,
Yes,
Yeah.
it is.
It's awful.
where's
man.
some Maple Story? Where's some fucking...
Worse than
what's
fucking
that?
Dungeon
God,
Fighter Online.
What is that God forbidden MMO? I can't remember it, but yeah.
Black
What are we
Desert
at
Online?
now? Like an hour and 10 minutes?
Yes, just about.
I don't...
I think we're ready to wrap it up for the day. So, the usual JWOK. Plug your shit.
Alright. Okay, so my stuff hasn't changed. Twitter.com/JWOK_. That's where I tweet. I haven't had personally a lot of good tweets recently, but I'm trying to get myself back up there in the comedy scale. I also have my graphics, jwok.carbonmate.com. That's pretty cool. I make stuff, as I mentioned before. Something new that I want to plug is I don't stream too often, but I want to keep streaming more. So I have a Mixer account. We were gonna talk about Mixer, but we end up not, which is fine. It's fine. So it's mixer.com/JWOK. That's where I stream every now and again.
Kermit.
Alrighty, boys. So, if y'all want to follow me on Twitter, I'll send you memes. I'll give you anime titties. Sometimes, depends if I'm real enough to post them. Twitter.com/FroggyBoyKermit. And if you want to see me stream, I do it sometimes. I'll probably try and do it more. Twitch.tv/FroggyBoyKermit. And that's all I have. I'm really fucking lonely. Please follow me.
Or Kermit. Garantinus.
Okay, I do not want to plug like Snapchat, Twitter, Insta, and all that, but I will give you my Osu profile.
Give him his SoundCloud.
osu.py.sh/users/10570304.
Why do you have that memorized?
I don't. I just pulled it up.
It's like an
Twitter.com
script.
Plug your
/Essex.
GitHub. Plug
Twitch.tv
GitHub.
/Essex. GitHub.
I do have a GitHub.
Plug my GitHub.
Girantinas, plug your GitHub.
I would rather not.
Damn,
Everyone will see my shitty code.
JWOK, do our outro.
I don't know what it is. Watch us, subscribe to us if you want future episodes. We're pretty cool. I think we're pretty cool.
Click the bell.
Click the bell.
Slap
to
that
get,
bell
alerted
icon.
whenever
Slap
we
that
upload.
subscribe button. Slap. Destroy that like button.
This is the
boys.
worst podcast.
The like button too.
The funniest podcast.
Something that I want to put in is we are looking into putting episodes on streaming services other than YouTube, like SoundCloud and Spotify mostly. It costs money. I'm not gonna tell you to give us money, but it does cost a little bit of money. So hopefully in the future we can get that set up, because that would be really cool. Being able to have like a genuine audio
And
podcast.
before JWOK starts plugging his PayPal.me.
No, I'm not plugging my PayPal.me.
Oh my God.
Thank you guys very much for listening. As I said, stay tuned for future episodes, and we will see you guys next time.
Bye-bye.
See ya.